Hello. Our group, I'm Carl. This is Martine, Heather, and Marianne. These are our little emojis for each of us, so you'll see us throughout the presentation, but just an FYI that I am in fact wearing what that was coincidence completely. Title of our pilot study is Perceptions and Navigation Cyclists and Shared Spaces. So the first thing is we wanted to just acknowledge some of the learnings that we took away from this course and how we took what we were learning and started to craft and try to understand where we would even take our pilot study. So we were really inspired by the aspects of observation in our section with Gerber Mormon about sociology, as well as the subjective experience and how we experience cycling, both from what we're observing and what we're feeling on our skin. For example, looking at ethnographies of infrastructure, and so we'll be talking about autoethnography a lot too. And finally, looking at how technology can both be used and applied within the aspect of observation within our pilot study. There we go. So our research question is, how do cyclists perceive and navigate shared space? And what does that experience reveal about movement, interaction, and agency within these environments? We weren't exactly sure where to begin, so we went to Vondel Park, a place that we as a group have just really enjoyed in our time here in Amsterdam, particularly because this is a place where there is a high pedestrian and cyclist activity. There is a lot of intersecting traffic flows. So we thought that this might be an interesting place to observe. And we wanted to look at it in the morning when we could capture more people that are using that space as a place of kind of transition, commuting, and also community building. And so in this orange little circle is where we did our observations. So when we went to do a site visit there, we then used that as an opportunity to think about what sort of mixed method approach we wanted to bring in. So using the lectures and experience in the course, we settled on an eye tracking experience, observation, and autoethnography. So we were in this little orange dot place, so it's a little zoomed in from the map earlier, and we did 6 routes. So 1, 2, 3, kind of all over, in order to get a full experience of this particular intersection within Vondel Park. And through eye tracking, observation, autoethnography, we're able to see a lot of different pieces of this particular shared space within the park.
Yeah, so one important part of this experiment is the introduction of technology. Technology as ally for the measure of the visual perception of cyclists. So I can scan you now and see who is driving car. So yeah, so with this kind of technology, we wanted to know more about perception. So the perception is the construction of the reality through your sense, but what can you describe? What can you see? What can you interpret? Which are the stimulus in order to look at specific points? So for these answers, you have to have now the definition or the 3 elements for the measurement. The first of them is the fixation. It means the attention at a specific point in our experiment, saccade as the movement between fixations, and areas of interest as the possible classification of fixations according to specific parameters. So you can see here one sample of the eye tracking video or analysis. You see these beautiful eyes of one of us on the top of the video. So after doing this experiment with the eye tracking glasses, we identify 7 types of areas of interest or groups in order to analyze them. And then the process was looking at each video in order to identify the situation. It means in every video, in which second, which kind of typology we saw. And of course, that is a challenge, the interpretation of the visual perception. So in most important slide here with this technology is of course the results. As you can see here, we have, so here are three important results. The first one, the difference between us. So you see here the travel time in seconds. All the rounds are at the same time, and the bigger the circle, the longer the time we need for the fixation. For example, you have here the results of Carl. Carl was more focused on cyclists and pedestrians. You see the colors, the circles. For Heather, it was so not clear, but she had more focus on external areas and specific points. For Marion, end of the route, the goal, it was an important thing. And for me, I was surprising for my results. I was more looking at the cycle path. So at the end of the experiment, so we had that the half of the experiment, we were looking at the cycle path and cyclists and this intersection as important result.
So in addition to the eye tracking, we also looked at observation. And so what this looked like was as the one of us was on the bike that was going through the intersection, the three of us were all observing those interactions and recording those things. And so we collected a lot of really good kind of information that gave us more context to what we as researchers were witnessing the cyclist doing. So here we have Heather Marianne commenting on Heather and her stopping and a woman behind her getting frustrated as she was waiting to turn. We also looked at autoethnography. So once our routes were completed, we immediately wrote down every sort of feeling or experience that we could remember really from that very quick moment. And so these were direct quotes that are written all from us as well. So Heather actually did comment on needing to stop and put her foot down in order to turn because of so many bikes, but didn't necessarily realize that there was a person that was waiting behind her.
Yeah, some examples of the funny things. At the left side, you see the cute dog. Now, yeah. And Carl was afraid of the police. So he was like doing strange things. Oh, sorry. So yeah, you see for the police. So. How to connect numbers and descriptions. Yeah, that's an important way in order to combine the two words of traffic planners, numbers, the social things. How can we improve that? And I think with technology and with this kind of group work together, we can do some important things. So we have a table with the results of the participants, the participation in every typology, and then we had some descriptions, important descriptions. For example, Carl was more focused on the cyclist, on pedestrian, and when we saw the fixation, the number of fixations, the most of them were at cyclists. So it was an important connection, I would say. For Heather, this dock or other elements of the external areas were there. So if you see the number, the percent of for Heather was different in comparison with Marion or Carl. For me, for Marion, she ride more than 100 kilometers per week. She's like a professional cyclist, and you see here, end of the route, it was the fixation, the most important, one of the most important for her. And for me, so I am more of observing infrastructure and things. I really, because of my background, so I have this relation here.
Okay, so what did we kind of come up with? We obviously are taking a mixed method approach, and so we were kind of surprised or really affirmed in our conversation as we were debriefing this that a mixed method interdisciplinary approach can provide a really holistic experience about understanding cyclist behavior in shared space. And that by incorporating data as an additional tool and the manual data collection methods that we were using, it can give us a really good comprehensive picture, a more behind the scenes experience. And this can be useful for planners and city officials as we're thinking about how to optimize cyclist experience in different shared spaces around our cities. And then finally, we are looking towards the future. We think that this would be an interesting pilot study to take forward. There might be an opportunity to incorporate additional technology, maybe like a personal recording device, so you can record your experience in the moment, explore different differences and similarities between different groups or demographics, and then obviously compare different space typologies as well. So we're just looking at your park, and we might find something different in different areas of the city. That's it.